Kosovo is the heart of Serbia, as Serbia and around 50% of the United Nations member states consider it. The most influential among them are China, Russia, India and Brazil. Moreover, 5 out of 27 EU countries, as well as 4 out of 13 NATO member states, think the same way. However, the other half of the UN countries, among them the majority of EU, Australia, Canada, Japan, and most importantly the United States, see Kosovo as independent. Therefore, a perfect setting for long and exhausting negotiation. How is the negotiation going so far? You will find out in this video. Hello guys, I'm Žarko. Welcome to Cobblestone Negotiations, the channel where we discuss negotiations in a plain and simple language. I guess many of us thought when we first met with the history courses in the elementary school that there's only one true history, as the truth can only be one. Only later do we find out that every side has its own interpretation of almost every important event in history. And exactly because of that, we have negotiations. The conflict around Kosovo started many centuries ago as one of the most important battles, if not the most important one in Serbian history, took place there in 1389 when the army led by Serbian knight Knez Lazar fought against the Ottoman Empire. For the purpose of our story, we will fast forward to the modern period, as we will not go into historical details. After all, by now we discovered that every side has its own version of history, so it's enough to know that both Serbia and Kosovo see this territory differently. In the 1990s, at Kosovo and Metohija, as Serbia calls this territory, started a military actions organized by Kosovo Liberation Army, a military organization established by local Albanian population to achieve their goal of turning Kosovo into an independent state. Obviously, the other side, Serbia, sees this organization as terrorists. But again, we will not enter into interpretation of historical events. Enough to know is that there was a war at Kosovo, Serbian southern province, between this organization and the Serbian state that started in February 1998 and that was ended in June 1999 with NATO bombing of Yugoslavia, a country comprised of Serbia and Montenegro at the time. Afterward, Kosovo declared independence in February 2008 and official negotiations started in March 2011. The motivation for these talks were, from part of Kosovo, obviously to legitimize their self-declared independence, and from part of Serbia, besides solving practical issues for the Serbian population in Kosovo, to solve this territorial issue as the precondition for entering the European Union. In this promised EU path, we should find reasons for more efficient negotiation in the first years since they started, and for the stalemate that we see in the last years as the path to EU doesn't seem that clear anymore. Kosovo's negotiators are obviously respecting one of our negotiation principles. Make them invest in the relationship, as they are not expecting that Serbia agrees with them and recognize their independence immediately at the start of the negotiation. No. They are building Serbia's investment in the whole process by negotiating less important issues first. Therefore, they, with the help of powerful foreign countries, managed to turn this negotiation to solving practical issues first, issues that didn't demand deciding Kosovo's status immediately. So the first 2 years of negotiation, 2011 and 12, are called the technical dialogue, as their goal was to solve the practical issues in the field, like telecommunications, electric energy supply, land books, civil records, vehicles registration plates, freedom of movement, and similar issues. The second phase of the negotiation started in 2013, This time it was a high-level dialogue, as the result of this round of negotiation was the Brussels Agreement, named after the place of signing. The formal name was the First Agreement of Principles Governing the Normalization of Relations. Negotiations were led by Serbian Prime Minister Ivica Dačić and his Kosovo's counterpart Hashim Thaçi, with the European Union as a mediator. The agreement consists of 15 points, the first one being about the creation of the Association of Serb-majority municipalities in Kosovo, which is the point that Serbs were pushing for. In return, Serbs agreed to dismantle parallel state institutions, like the police and judicial system that they had in northern Kosovo. For example, by the agreement, the Kosovo police force would be deployed in north as well, with the Serb as a regional commander. Moreover, the 14th point states that neither side will block the other side's progress in their respective EU journeys, as one of the benefits after signing the agreement for both sides was that the EU should start with the stabilization and the association agreement with Kosovo and accession negotiations with Serbia. Still, there was no official mention of Serbia's duty to recognize Kosovo as an independent state. In the aftermath, parallel Serbian structures were dismantled, but we are still waiting for the creation of the Association of Serb-majority municipalities. Namely, Kosovo opposes it as they are afraid it will plant a seed for future Serbian independent territory within Kosovo. It is not clear why Serbia accepted to fulfill most of their part of the agreement without getting much in return. Anyway, Kosovo officials claim that creating this association is against their constitution. But if we are going that path, then the existence of Kosovo itself as an independent state is against the Serbian constitution, as Serbia considers Kosovo its southern province. So that justification doesn't seem that valid from the neutral point of view. From 2017, the EU facilitated a dialogue with the goal of normalization of relations between these two sides. From 2018, we hear that a legally binding normalization agreement is crucial so that both Kosovo and Serbia can achieve their EU future. In January 2018, one of the Serbian political leaders in Kosovo, Oliver Ivanović, was assassinated, and soon after, in March the same year, Serbian former lead negotiator Marko Đurić was arrested when he entered Kosovo. These events contributed to the negotiation standstill in the period of 2018-20. Furthermore, in the same period, Kosovo imposed 100% tariffs on goods from Serbia to retaliate to Serbian efforts to block Kosovo's accession to international organizations. However, in 2018, there was an initiative from Serbia's and Kosovo's presidents for exchanging territories between Serbia and Kosovo, where Serbia would get northern part of Kosovo with dominantly Serbian population, and Kosovo would get a part of Serbia where mostly Albanians live. However, this initiative didn't get much traction, as the international community opposed it due to the concerns that this idea would open new disputes in other countries if nationality were the criteria for the territory exchange. The latest initiative in the negotiation came in 2020, when Serbian President Aleksandar Vučić and Kosovo's Prime Minister Abdullah Hoti signed an economic normalization agreement, also known as the Washington Agreement. This came after Donald Trump's initiative, probably to achieve some important foreign politics success before the American election. Besides the economic part, by the agreement, both sides committed themselves not to encourage other countries either to recognize Kosovo's independence or to revoke existing recognition. Recently, a little over a month ago, in March 2022, Serbian President Aleksandar Vučić said that the Brussels Agreement is dead, as Kosovo does not respect its obligations. Again, it is not clear what actions can the Serbian side take at this moment, as they already made concessions for something they never received. How I see it, Serbia is negotiating with a more powerful counterpart, as the majority of the EU and especially the US, which are mediators in this negotiation, are supporting Kosovo's independence. Therefore, in this situation, when they face a more powerful adversary, Serbia should persistently insist on objective standards, which in this case is requesting that the signed Brussels agreement be respected. By now, it is clear that unilateral separation isn't enough for a territory to become a fully recognized independent state. For this reason, Kosovo is involving Serbia in the exhausting negotiation around technical issues first, preparing Serbia for the final act of recognizing them as a full United Nations member. Will that actually happen? That's still to be seen. Regardless, if you have any difficult issue to negotiate, always start with easy issues first, as that will set the table for important concessions from your counterpart that you are hoping for. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to this channel so we can continue producing similar videos. Thank you for watching.